Hello, fellow Americans. You are on the YouTube channel Common Constitutionalism, and I am Mitch. I talk about issues in our government, the erosion of our culture, the minimizing of our way of life, and the disregard for our Constitution. This video is titled, Why Republicans Don't Make Good Fascists. The actions of Antifa, BLM, and other organizations to strong-arm people into submission is the precise meaning of fascism. The ridiculous suggestion that Antifa's name supposedly stands for anti-fascist is a joke. The Democrats and their BLM and Antifa organizations align very closely to fascist ideology, as shown in Lawrence Britt's study of National Socialist regimes of history, specifically fascists, in his book, 14 Characteristics of Fascism. What Britt found was 14 defining characteristics common to all fascist regimes. Democrats should be careful where they point their finger. The Democrat Party can check off 7 out of the 14 fascist characteristics, plus 2 more I cannot believe are not on the list. I add number 15 and 16, my own fascist characteristics. So I say it's 9 out of 16. You'll all see these later. The United States people on the left, the liberals or Democrat Party, wrongly make a blanket conception that fascism is on the right. This is a blatant untruth. The points Democrats use for their conclusion are nationalism, racism, militarism, national security, and religion. These points are certainly all characteristics of fascism. But the Democrats' application is broad and general. Instead, fascism applies them in an extremist sense. There are very few on either side of the political aisle that will argue communism is a natural transition from socialism, such as Bernie Sanders. However, the belief that fascism is a move to the opposite direction toward the right, in the direction of capitalism, is false. The left's obscure interpretation that the move to fascism comes from capitalism's right or conservative ideology actually does not make sense. Here is the obvious support why fascism is a product of the left, not the liberals' common rant that it comes from the right. It is a matter of record that in the German election of 1933, the people of the Communist Party were ordered by its leaders to vote for the Nazis, with the explanation that they could later fight the Nazis for power, but that first they had to help destroy their common enemy, capitalism and its parliamentary form of government. It is obvious what both fascism and communism accomplish. They set up variants of the same political system. Both eliminate the possibility of considering capitalism. Both exchange freedom for dictatorship. Easily shown is that fascism and communism are not two opposites at all. Instead, they are like two people wanting the same thing, but getting it in different ways. Because both are variants of statism. based on the collectivist's principle that man is without rights and a slave of the state. Both are socialistic in theory, in practice, and in the explicit statements of their leaders. Both systems, the poor are enslaved and the rich are excoriated in favor of a ruling clique. Both lead to a frenzy of genocide, thought control, and a complete annihilation of the concept of the individual. Both, the basic issue is man versus state. Individual rights versus totalitarian government simply means capitalism versus socialism. Therefore, fascism is not the product of the political right, but of the political left. It is widely considered they are two sides of the same coin of totalitarianism. Look at it as twins that are not identical, but have the same DNA. Communism is based on the equal distribution of wealth. Everyone in society receives an equal share of the benefits derived from labor, such as food and money. In order to ensure that everyone receives an equal amount, all means of production are controlled by the state. This is communism's theory, which sounds much better than its reality. The truth is, there is no utopia in communist countries. Its people live in very poor and unhealthy conditions. Also, there is a huge divide between wealth of the people and the leaders. Fascism allows for private enterprise, but its economic system is focused entirely on strengthening and glorifying the state. The state makes all the decisions of production and needs. The state decides distribution. Really, the only difference between how fascism and communism view the people is communism lies to the people, telling them how wonderful and utopian it is, then punish anyone who speaks out against the state. While all the while, the leaders are living high, but the people are in extremely poor conditions. Fascism, at least, is more honest. Their way is a straight up class system, like a ladder. The higher you are on the ladder, the better you have it. The lower you are, the worse it is. So how does the Democrat Party match up? I have made the case before many times through the years, but I will say it again. All communist or fascist countries evolved from countries that were first socialist. Simply put, there has never been a communist or fascist regime that came out of a capitalist government. It is an absolute fact. The country must first be deeply socialist. Do you see the point? When the Democrats tried to suggest that Republicans, especially conservatives, are fascists, it is factually inaccurate. There is a grave misinterpretation of fascism because fascist ideology relies on extreme nationalism, military, national security, religion, and social cleansing. The left conveniently labels it to the right. Again, I will say this is a falsehood. One can carefully read Characteristics number 1, 3, 4, 7, and 8. As I explained earlier with the points the Democrats use for their conclusion, conservative beliefs are founded far too strictly in the rights of the individual to possibly hang the extreme use of these characteristics on Republicans. However, when you see the Democrats' reactions to BLM, Antifa, pandemic lockdowns, government control, social separatism, and deep state manipulation to eliminate its opposition, it is not at all a stretch to compare Democrats to fascism. Republicans are capitalists, hated by fascists. Democrats are socialists, the natural transition to communism and fascism. There is no denying the modern day Democrats' evolution towards socialism. Bernie Sanders has said he is far enough left to align with communism. The political scientist Robert Paxson once stated, "A form of political behavior marked by obsessive preoccupation with community decline, humiliation or victimhood, and by compensatory cults of unity, energy, and purity, in which a mass-based party working in uneasy but effective collaboration with traditional elitists abandons democratic liberties and pursues with redemptive violence and without ethical or legal restraints goals of internal cleansing and external expansion." Now, I have a quick quiz for you. Can you say which political party Robert Paxson is actually referring to? Is it A, the Communist Party, B, the Fascist Party, C, the Democrat Party? You tell me. You can see the answer at the end of this video. Now, remember at the start, I spoke of Lawrence Britt's 14 defining characteristics of fascism? Well, you'll see them here. And then after that, then you will see the 9 characteristics which I believe the Democrat Party aligns with. And at the end there, you'll see the answer to the quiz. I would appreciate you all exploring, donating, subscribing, joining, and shopping on my sites. Until next time, this is Common Constitutionalism, and I am Mitch. Thank you, America.